The college football experience, James Madison Dukes 2025 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by us, yes, and Edge Boost, the bank account that is built for better. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN to get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt from our store. So claim your free shirt today, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, everybody. Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this. Let it ride.
Welcome to the college football experience. James Madison Dukes 2025 season preview episode. I couldn't wait. We were going to try to get Patty C. We'll do a 2.0 at some point with Patty C. But youtube.com/the college experience. We're going through all 136 teams in the land. Solo podcast for each and every team out there. We've already got some ones out there. A few Sunbelt ones we've already banged out. So Sunbelt fans, if you're tuning in, check it out. JMU fans, hey, Flamin' Libs, the Liberty Flames previews out there. They're on the schedule. You're going to want to check that one out. But please, if you can, youtube.com/the college experience, hop on over there. And I'm excited to talk JMU Duke football. I have spent many of drunken nights in my life in Harrisonburg, Virginia, having a great old time. So excited to break them down. And I think they are one of the more exciting programs in the country. When you talk about how fast they've gotten things going, we will dive into all of that. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swig, Dan to Base Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
I'm going to show up at Harrisonburg with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos. Let's go. I mean, this program has been just fantastic to watch over the years. Just unbelievable what they have done. Different coaches getting it done. I am joined by my co-host, who I believe, you got some family lineage that have spent some time in Harrisonburg there. Give it up for the host of the college basketball experience with myself. Give it up for former staffer at Austin Peay with the Governors, South Carolina with the Gamecocks, and West Virginia with the Mountaineers, Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Moneyline Mac. How are you, brother?
What is up, man? Yes, love the JMU Dukes. Love Harrisonburg. Good time, good place. Let's talk some Dukes football, man.
Mac tonight! Come on, make it Mac tonight!
Yes, this is, we would say this back in the 90s. I can remember just me, my brothers, friends being like, JMU should be they should go all in football. They should go all in football. We've been saying it for George Mason forever. And George Mason just is stupid, because how does George Mason not just look at JMU and say, wait, that could be us? What do we do? Because JMU has been really, this is a program that started in 1972. All right. And to come up that fast, and I know, in the 80s, they put out some great players like Charles Haley, a Hall of Famer, and Gary Clark, a Redskin great, and probably a guy, I don't think he'll make the Hall of Fame, but he's fringe. Scott Norwood, who obviously has the infamous kick, but like they produced a lot then. And so in the 90s, we were saying, yeah, they should go all in. There's a lot of talent. Well, I don't know what happened, but they got the memo. Maybe it was when Patty C went there. Yeah, this is a program that and I think it started under Mickey Matthews really in the late 90s, in early 2000s with Patty C. It started with Patty C. Let's be honest. They won a natty in 2004 in the FCS ranks and did it again in 16 with Mike Houston, played for a couple other championships where they lost some close games there. And then obviously, so from Mickey Matthews to Everett Withers to Mike Houston to Kurt Signetti and then to Bob Chesney, but they came up seamlessly through the FBS. So they were 12-2 in their last year in the FCS. They jump up to the FBS. Year 1, 8-3. They were ineligible for a bowl game or a Sun Belt championship, where they probably would have played in both. Year 2, 11-2 season, and then year 3, they get their first ever bowl win in the FBS with Bob Chesney going 9-4. So people thought they might fall off going from Signetti to Chesney. Not so fast. What do you make of this program? And it just seems to be coach proof. They seem to make great hires all the time. They seem to be throwing money into the right places. Bridgeforth Stadium, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's a stadium that's grown and they've been throwing money into the program. Remember they had college game day there. Yep. It just seems like everything the sky is the limit. Especially, I'm going to say this, they've been the best school in the state of Virginia over the past decade in my mind.
And to put some stats to back up your point, in the last 10 years, they've won 9 games every year except for 2 years. The COVID year, that was shortened, and then the other season, they went 8-3 because they didn't play a 12th game. So they win 9 games at least every year. Got a bunch of 14-win seasons, whether it was under Houston, Signetti. Chesney comes in, wins 9 games the first year. In the basketball landscape, I would compare them to what VCU has been. JMU football, VCU basketball, coach proof, and they just continue to win no matter what level, what conference, and they just keep putting more and more money, and they're not going anywhere either. It's the future is it's only getting brighter. So this is a future Power 4 program, to be honest.
I agree. I completely agree. Look, they played at Virginia Tech when Virginia Tech was top 10, beat them. Virginia Tech took them off the fucking schedule after that. They're like, hey, we can't be scheduled this JMU team, right? They beat UVA the last time they played. That's what I'm saying, and that was at UVA. This is what I mean. They are the premier. What's crazy is people want to know why Virginia Tech have kind of fell off. And George Welsh had Virginia rolling in the 90s, and obviously Beamer had the Hokies rolling. It has been, to me, Liberty and JMU have come up, but JMU I think is at the top of that thing. And also we know Old Dominion revised their program, but they haven't had the same amount of success as like Liberty and JMU coming up to the FBS and stuff. So makes for a fascinating time in my opinion. And let's jump into the slideshow here and talk a little bit about Coach Bob Chesney, because wow. I have been, if you follow, I host the FCS College Football Experience. If you follow us there, I have been a huge Bob Chesney fan for a while. At the studio in LA, we have a TV designed at the time when Chesney was at Holy Cross for Holy Cross games, because I was just that impressed with what he did at Holy Cross. So when I saw JMU hire him, I thought, wow, okay, it's going to work out. Now, I know Signetti took it was like 15 players with him to Indiana, and also they had some people graduate. So I was like, I don't know how well he'll do in year 1, but it's the right hire. But boy, he scored 70 points at Kenan Memorial Stadium against UNC. Basically got Mac Brown fired. Let's be honest, Mac Brown was fired that day. I know he didn't get they were nice. They let him close out the season. But 70 points at an FBS, I can only think of one other group of 5 team that's ever done that. Oh, the East Carolina Pirates. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Ironically, that was also at Kenan Memorial Stadium. So North Carolina, stop it. But Bob Chesney, man, you look at this season, 9-4. And they really had no business losing that Marshall game. They blew like a 17-point fourth quarter lead. Surprised they got bit by ULM. Understood why they got bit by Georgia Southern and App. I think those are the ones. I think if you're a JMU fan, you say, we should have got ULM. We should have got Marshall. We should have had a 10-2 season. But still, with all being said, for a first season, great first year, and a Power 5 ass whooping like that, not a lot of schools can say they've done that. Your thoughts on Bob Chesney?
And a statement win at Charlotte on opening night. I mean, they beat the shit out of them. So it was more of a statement like, hey, I know Cignetti's off to Indiana, but JMU's not going anywhere. Then the 70-point onslaught of Carolina in Chapel Hill was awesome. Yeah, they had a couple road bumps here, but all things considered, a really good first year. 9 wins, win the bowl game against Western Kentucky. And I mean, just Chesney's a football coach. He's a really good coach. He was good at Holy Cross. He was good at Assumption. He was good at Salve Regina. I mean, Salve Regina. Anybody that coaches and goes 23-9 at Salve Regina, can coach.
Oh, I'm all in, man. Holy Cross, in my opinion, when they made the FCS playoffs, I think it was if you look right now, I have Chesney's past 3 years as a head coach. 9-4 in 2004, 7-3 in 2003, or I'm sorry, 2023, 12-1 in 22. There was like the 12-1 season, or maybe the year prior to that, the 21 season, where they were playing at South Dakota State, and they gave, if you were to compare the budgets at South Carolina State to fucking Holy Cross, they're on different planets. And they pushed them to the brink. And then in that 7-4 season in 23, they should have beat Boston College. They did a quarterback power to Matthew Sluka, who was off for like an 80-yard touchdown, and his foot barely touched the out of bounds. He went to look back at who was chasing him, and his foot touched out of bounds, or that would have been game over. Holy Cross win at BC, a Power 5. So I was just super impressed with what he did there. And Matthew Sluka is a name that we should talk about because in a second here, because he's coming in. I will say this. Actually, hold on. I want to tell you that the JMU 2025 season preview episode on the college football experience is brought to you by us. Really, we are part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Get all your free picks and podcasts for the Stanley Cup Finals, the College Baseball World Series, NBA Finals, UFL Championship, and CFL and MLB regular season, all in one spot on the SGPN app. Get it for free wherever you get your apps. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride. All right, back talking JMU football. And yeah, like one of the things, let's just talk about the offense here. Dean Kennedy has my nomination for president. Let's keep the Kennedys in office, right? With Dean. Because walking in year one, 26th in scoring offense, 81st in passing offense, 28th in rush offense, 47th in total offense. Those are great numbers considering what they lost, in my opinion. What do you make? What do you make of the offense? And another thing is, obviously they lost Barrett for the season there. Alonza Barrett, they're the third. Now it was like I think the final game of the season, the regular season there against what was that? Marshall, I believe. Or was that? I think it was Marshall. But those are pretty damn good numbers considering they lost a lot of production from the year before, including their all Sun Belt quarterback who transferred to Texas State. So super impressive to me. If you told me they had a top 50, I honestly thought they would be behind the top 50. I really did. And I love the hire too. I just thought it's going to take some time. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I mean, you can see from the rushing stats that they were explosive on the ground. Pettaway averaged 6 yards a carry, so did Knight. So their two lead backs were really, really good, and Barnett as well could use his legs. And just a little bit, Kennedy was with him with Chesney at Holy Cross, so some continuity. And we'll talk about Sluka now coming back in, reuniting with his offensive coordinator. So. All things considered, a solid first year for Dean Kennedy, who seems to be a coach on the rise.
He really does. And look, so Barrett is out for I think he tore his ACL, if memory serves me correct. or his knee. Maybe it was his knee. But we don't know when he's coming back healthy. So I know I put Matthew Sluka as a returning starter, not at James Madison, but the reason why I put him in here as a returning starter is he was at Holy Cross for multiple seasons. I think 4 seasons, I believe, if memory serves me correct. So my point is here, he is very familiar with the offense. So in that regard, he's kind of like a returning starter. And he's a super senior. He was undefeated at UNLV last season, including knocking off a Power 5 in Kansas.
2. They beat Houston too.
Oh yeah, Houston and Kansas. They bring back 2 of 5 on the O-line, Pat McMurtry and Carter Sweezy. And then those running backs you mentioned, Adeyi, who was injured a little bit, but this is a guy that has had big seasons before. He had a 900-yard season. And also George Pettaway. So the running back room looking very good. They're all back. They did take some hits, and we're going to talk about what they did in the portal, but I do think we should mention one of the things these days, it's just hard to keep all of your talent there. So, like, this is a team that, like, man, the portal kind of, they were able to go out and get some P5 guys, but like Tyshawn Wyatt, their offensive tackle, ends up at Virginia. Their other offensive tackle, Cameron Jones, goes to Kentucky. The Power 5, another one, Jesse Ramel on the O-line to Mississippi State. Defensive line, Rutgers came calling for 2 guys on the D-line. They lost a couple wideouts to SMU in Virginia. So they took some real hits. Their kicker to UCF. They took some real Power 5 hits, but that's a testament to how good this program was. These guys were a lot of them were backups 2 years ago. So very impressive stuff there. But so how do they replenish that talent? They went out in the portal and they added these guys. Well, first, Matthew Sluka is a guy, 65 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's just in the air, by the way, right? That's just in the air. His rushing numbers are pretty fucking great too. So, and shout out to Colt giving us $10. Appreciate you, Colt. Come be a part of the chat, folks. I highly recommend watching the show with the slides. And if you're allowed to day drink, take a shot. This is what Colt says. Amen. Now they didn't just add Sluka. They added Camden Coleman from Richmond. The Spiders keep a really good program down there at Richmond, and he's a guy that can play. I know. I'm assuming Sluka's going to start, but look at the situation they have. Alonza Barnett. I almost think, I don't know if he would be cool with this, but I almost think you keep him out for the whole year. Because I feel like that his timetable, they were saying they think like October, maybe early November. I just think you redshirt him this year because you have Sluka for 1 year. And then you got Cameron Cole. You are very sound at the quarterback room right now.
Yeah.
They go out to a familiar name, Jordan Fuller, also from fucking Holy Cross, coming in. Obviously familiar with Chesney. Wide receiver Isaiah Alston from Iowa State. Braedon Wislowski from Maryland. Arion Concepcion, who's the brother, I believe, of the A&M, the NC State kid that went to A&M, coming in from K-State. Jaylan Sanchez is a name I think you should circle because he was very good at Villanova. Also, if Coleman does start, he's got a connection with DeGennaro from Richmond as well. Nick DeGennaro there. And then also Zeron Collins coming in from Tusculum, going deep sea diving. Then the O-line, they did go out and replace these and bring in some guys. Look, first, Cam McNair comes in from Holy Cross. Chesney's familiar with that. I like those guys coming in. They know what to expect. Bringing in a Duke transfer, a North Carolina transfer, and then Valdosta State. Shout out to, rest in peace to our guy Mike Leach. And kicker Morgan Suarez from FAU. Mac, and I shouldn't, I forgot the long snapper, Josiah Kennard from Texas A&M Commerce coming in. Mac, a lot of moving pieces here. How do you feel about the offense? Do you think he can stay at that rate or he perhaps be improved?
Yeah, I think that they'll be more dynamic with Sluka. I mean, you mentioned it. Sluka, they got to the title game his first year for first year for Vegas, and last year they were undefeated.
Well, I think the knock would be is that he only spent 3 or 4 games there because of the whole situation. But
true.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was playing at a high level, and obviously the NIL situation, but I mean they went on the road to beat Kansas, and then they beat Houston on the road. So 2 road games, and he's familiar with the system. And just the other thing, I think adding a couple guys from his Holy Cross team. I mean the back. Why am I drawing a blank on the back from Holy Cross that they just brought over?
Fuller.
Yeah, he was a 1,000-yard rusher 2 years ago for Holy Cross. So yeah, and then they get a couple guys from the high major at the wide receiver position from Iowa State, from K-State. Alston, he started at Army, ironically. So and then you look at the offensive line, they had a couple guys from the high majors as well. So yeah, they got hit a little bit, but then I thought they punched back too with some other guys.
Yeah. And as Colt says, hey, so Luka was 4-0 before when he transferred. That's fair. Well, I was sold on him at Holy Cross, and I think he's kind of Tebow-esque. And I think they're going to utilize him to his talents there. And I think that's what we could look forward to is like heavy dose. That rushing game, you add in the way Sluka can run with the ball, the rushing game might even be better, even though they took those hits on the O-line. I think their numbers will be similar, if not better, with Sluka being in this offense for so many years. So there we go there. What's that?
And you got to think Sluka's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
After how things ended in Vegas, I think he wants to right what went wrong. I mean, everybody knows the whole situation with the NIL. Did he pay me? Did he not? So forth. He leaves. Everybody shits on him. So I got to think he's got a little bit of a chip coming into this year.
Yeah, and remember they interviewed Chesney like week 2 or 3 about his character, and Chesney's like, "That's my guy, dude." And I think that's if you're, regardless of what happened there, we don't even truly know. I've heard multiple things. You got to coach going to bat for you in a time where it seems like a lot of people were shitting on him, even myself, because I'm like, man, they're 4-0. Yeah. You got playoff. You might have got lied to. I personally would have still stuck it out, and I would have probably put them on blast, but. Hindsight's 2020. Who knows? Yep. The defensive side of the ball. Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. But before I do that, I want to let you know that the college football experience JMU Duke edition is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, Edge Boost, the first ever bank account that is built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. There's no usage fees, no minimums. They're not even going to do a credit check. Come on. They're not going to know you've been missing payments for years. Everyone's calling you a deadbeat, I'm joking. I'm joking, but I'm not joking with it. They're not going to do a credit check, which is pretty amazing. So sign up at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGP. Added last week to sign up. This is your last week to sign up to get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt from our store. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs to claim your free shirt today. We're also brought to you by Circa and the Ultimate Fantasy Football Giveaway. Yes, the Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is given this is if you haven't been to Circa, it's the biggest sportsbook in the world. Stadium Swim's incredible. And they're doing the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their entire stay. You're going to get a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 food and beverage tab at Stadium Swim, where you can host your draft, a couple other bar deals, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. What are you doing, folks? And guess what? You can enter all of that for free. All right? For free. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's CIRCA. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. And by the way, you can always get 15% off at any Circa property with our promo code SGP15. So do that and let it ride. All right, let's talk about the defense here. Once again, super impressive numbers. Colin Hitchler, 22nd in scoring defense, 45th in pass defense, 26th in rush defense, 23rd in total defense. And that, once again, I can't emphasize this enough. I feel like a lot of Indiana's defense, when they went to the college football playoff, was JMU guys. Their top linebackers, their top DN, their top corner were all JMU guys, man. So super impressive to lose those guys and still field a top 25 defense. Now they do return just 4 starters: Emmanuel Bush at the D tackle spot, linebacker Trent Hendricks, and both the safeties Jacob Thomas and DJ Barksdale. I mean, I hit on this some earlier that the portal took some guys, Mac. Multiple defensive linemen, a couple, defensive backs. So how do they punch back? They go out and they bring in Aaron Gobera from Notre Dame on the defensive line. That's a great get because Notre Dame is awesome on the defensive line. One of the best defensive lines in college football over the past couple of years. They also brought in Lacote Dupree. I wonder if any relation to CJ, but he comes in from Charlotte and Biff Poggi. And one thing I will say about Charlotte, I thought they fired Biff Poggi a little early personally. Just giving him 2 years, I thought was crazy. But the toughness on the line of scrimmage, I was impressed. They couldn't field a quarterback to save their life, to pass the ball, or just their offensive. But between the offensive line and D line, he brought that Michigan physicality with him to Charlotte. So Dupree could be a sneaky good get. Xavier Holmes was a beast at Maine with the Black Bears last year in the CAA. Defensive end Turner Schmidt coming in from Bob Morris up there with Bernard Clark and company. Andrew Tadeo from Colgate, as well as Kels Bush from La Tech. A JUCO linebacker transfer in JT Kuame Yao. Linebacker Jaden Studio from Kent State. Deep sea dive in here, man. That's what I love about this Chesney team. I mean, yes, you got the Notre Dame, but and look, let's not forget Colgate, Bob Morris. These are teams that played against Holy Cross. Also in the secondary, Elijah Culp from Charlotte. So multiple guys from Charlotte. Another JUCO and Mekhi Rogers from corner. Chance Harley, a corner from Maryland. Safety Ken Willis from Cincinnati. TJ McGill from William and Mary. And safety Curtis Harris Lopez from Holy Cross. Familiar with that defense. That's a lot of changing parts there, but what do you think they can? I would be, if they could just put up similar numbers. I think that's such a fucking win for JMU. It's going to be a tall order though, but hell, I was already shocked they did it last year. Why can't they do it again, Mac?
Yeah, and Hitchler's track record. I mean, he was with Cincinnati was fickle when they were playing when they were going to college football playoffs. So he's a good defensive mind. I think that they should be similar to last year. They lost a lot, yes, only 4 returning starters, but you mentioned it. Some of the guys that they brought in, the pair of guys from Charlotte that were contributors to that defense, and you gotta trust Chesney's eye for talent when he played against a lot of these guys at the FCS level.
And he's a defensive guy.
Yes.
He's a guy that played defensive back. Where I forget where Dickinson, I think it was. And then
way back in the day.
He was a DC at Delaware Valley, a DC at Johns Hopkins for a long time there. So that's what got him to where he is. So to me, he probably does have good eye for some of those players that played in the Patriot League.
Yeah, and like you said, the Patriot League, that's an underrated football league. It just doesn't get enough attention, and you see a lot of these guys year in and year out jump up and contribute. And so I trust Chesney with his defensive background to be able to evaluate guys under the radar. But it's a nice mix of under the radar FCS guys with guys from the high majors like Carolina, Duke, etc.
Yeah, 100%. So you think they'll put up similar numbers? You think?
Yeah.
I think similar. I don't know that it'll be. To me, like if you could be a top 50 defense, that's a win.
Yeah, well,
I think it'll be a top 50 defense.
I think they're going to be really good offensively, but ironically, he's a defensive coach, so I got to think that they're not going to be bad defensively because of his identity.
I mean, they were super impressive last year with losing those pieces. Can they withstand that again with losing some key pieces? Yeah. We will see, but I think I'm optimistic about it. We do a thing called State of the Program where we talk about every school, all 136 state of the program. What's the trajectory? What do you give it 1 to 10? And part of it also is stadium. We rank the stadiums. That does matter. If you come into the FBS, that's part of the state of the program, whether people want to believe it or not. is on them. But look, Bridgeforth Connect Stadium, 50 years young. I think I misranked this. I'm going to give it a 7 of 10. I think I was trying to do the state of the program as a 9 of 10, and I might have had a moment, but it's building in the right direction here. Let's take a look at this thing. This is a 7 of 10 to me, not a 9 of 10. And the main thing I think is that other side right there that you're staring at. They've been building this thing up. I'm going to show you a shot in a little bit here of what the program stadium used to look like not that long ago. But that whole side over there, they got to make it look like the opposing side, and you'll see it here. That side looks great. That side, to me, they're on the path, and they've been throwing money into this thing. And yeah, look at that. They got like a lake behind you there. That's awesome. Any place where you can sailgate is awesome. Outdoors, fantastic. I'm all on board with this. I think it's getting better every single day. And Patty C can attest to this. Like, this stadium did not look like that when he played there just 20 years ago. So the stadium is heading in the right direction. So that in that regard, I'm giving it a 7 of 10, and I like it. But I would like to see the right side. I would like to see that matched on the left side, which I know is tricky because you have that building there. But figure this out. All right, we can do something here. What do you make of this stadium? And I love that. Like that. Look at that shot right there. YouTube.com/The College Experience. That is fire. But it's like you have half a great college stadium and the other half, it's just unorthodox in a way.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Yeah, no, I'll give it a 7 as well. It's located right off I-81, so when you're driving down the highway, you can look to the left and you can see the stadium. It's got the potential to be a really, really nice stadium. I think in 2011 is when they added that bigger side with an extra deck. So now it's about time to invest and match that. So yeah, I mean it seats 25,000. It's time to push that thing over 30 with how much JMU has grown over.
And they have great fans too. Yeah. So they did and shout out to Colt saying, fuck that building, demolish that building, build that next, make it mirror the other side. Which I think he's right. Now, maybe there's a way you can make it both work, put that building into it or something. But man, I mean, it is a beautiful stadium though. Like it's still beauty. Like they're still, to me, they're on the right trajectory. It's getting better and better and better. And I think with more success, it's just it's something that's gonna happen. But you got to look and see what this thing used to look like, man. Because remember, they started their program in the 70s. All right, that's not that long ago. I mean, shit. Compared to most programs that have been around for 150 years or something, 120 years, this program, this is what. And by the way, look at that. That's when College Game Day was there. You remember that? That was awesome when College Game Day. And boy, did they show up for that. Remember Corso? You had Corso as James Madison. Shout out to the great Lee Corso. I know he's retiring this season. We love Lee Corso and want to wish him the best. But this is what it used to look like, Mac.
Yeah.
It's not that long ago. This is what it used to look like. So I don't even think this is the first season. I think this is seasons into it. So pretty fascinating that they've been able to develop. But to me, yeah, 7 of 10. And yeah, now for the actual state of the program, I gave this a 9 of 10. And because I do believe, like you mentioned earlier, this is a future Power 5 program with their enrollment, with the way they have been spending and playing, at really all level, all sports, I feel like have really been on the up, but specifically football. So I think this program eventually ends up, whether that's the ACC, whether it's a big, I don't know, but I just feel like it's just growing really fast at a really, in a short amount of time. So, what do you give the state of the program right now?
I'm going to duplicate what I said about Liberty. Future Power 4 team, I'm going to give it a 10. In terms of the rise, like they're not looking back, I can tell you that. So I think it's only going up and up and up, and they keep investing. I'll give it a 10.
Yeah, and it's coach proof.
Yes.
Like we're four or five coaches into dominance now at JMU. So yeah, 10 of 10 for Mac. I'm at 9 of 10, but exciting times to be a JMU football fan, and I can't wait for the future. I can't wait to see it. Folks, before we get to going game by game on the 25 schedule, I want to let you know that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog's going long for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus. Hop in game one, and the longer the series goes, the biggest. It's past game one, but hop in now, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonuses get. We love playing college football and college basketball, even college baseball right now on Underdog there. So sign up, and when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Yes, you've heard us talk about Rhythm before, or you probably heard me talk about it. They just dropped a new game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns when Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think like a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm and Rhythm only. There's no touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets, baby. So download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know we will be. Also, get your free 7-day trial period. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Yes, MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport. College baseball, World Series going on right now. You can still do college football win totals. They're out there. Take that JMU one. All available. Stanley Cup, NBA Finals. They got it all at MyBookie. And MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations as well, even outside of the States. So head on over to MyBookie.ag. Use the our promo code TCESGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Once again, terms and conditions apply. That's MyBookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back. Talking Duke football, the real Dukes, not that Blue Devil nonsense. All right. Game one, old FCS foe, Weber State. They keep a good FCS program now. However, I did see they got kind of plucked apart in the portal. I guess that's life in the FCS these days. Weber going all the way across country. I think last time JMU went to Weber, JMU with a big upset there. Series goes back to 2017. JMU is going to get him. Weber's in a state of disarray, I believe. So I got the Dukes at 1-0. How about you?
1-0 for me as well.
And then comes a big one. He put up 70 on an ACC team a year ago. Can he make it 80 this year, Mac, as JMU heads into the shack to take on the Louisville Cardinals in Louisville, Kentucky? Jeff Brom doing a great job. They played in 22 and they got beat down. Can they get revenge on that first matchup in 22? I don't think so. I am fascinated by the game, of course, with just the fact that JMU's on the rise and potentially trying to get in the ACC and been the best school in Virginia over the past decade. But I think Louisville is a team that could be a college football playoff team this year. So I will take Louisville to get this thing done. What are you doing here?
I love Sluka. They had the magic last year, upsetting all those Power Fours. I know it's a Friday night game in Louisville, but I think Brom and company got too much for JMU. I think this is going to be a competitive game. Probably going to take the points here. But I'll go Louisville and JMU 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. Then a much needed bye week there. Shout out to Ben DiNucci. Remember him? NFL quarterback, played at JMU. Then they come out of the bye week.
Ooh.
And I think this is the game of the season we already did our Liberty preview. Go listen to it. I can't wait to watch this football game. This is the one that really, I want to see the Louisville game a lot. I watch the app. The app one I get excited about every year, but this one here, they haven't played it in a while. These fan bases have been going at each other on Twitter and Reddit and shit for like a decade, I feel like. So there's real heat to this. Series goes back to 1980. JMU at Liberty, Williams Stadium, Lynchburg, Virginia. I got Liberty. I know JMU's got 2 weeks to prep. If this was anywhere else, if they're playing this in Houston, Texas or something, or somewhere random, or obviously at the Bridgeforth, I would take JMU. But I think Liberty's fans and that environment they're going to put together. Jamie Chadwell bringing in Vasco, his old quarterback at Coastal. He knows it, much like Sluka. He knows the system. This game is one I just cannot wait to watch. But I gotta take the Flamin' Libs. Give me the Flamin' Libs. I think they're 31-28 or something. They get it done against JMU behind that energy of that crowd. What are you doing here, Mac?
You know, the TV execs really dropped the ball in this. They're going to bury this Saturday afternoon or whatever. They should have played this on a Friday night, man.
Thursday, Friday, anything. Come on. This game is awesome. They are dropping the ball in this.
You know, on the Liberty preview, I had Liberty winning. But now that I'm picturing the bye week off the Louisville loss, I think Sluka and company get them. I'm Benedicting. Liberty goes 10-2. One of their losses is to JMU. Let's go, Dukes.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
There you go. Moneyline Mac changing horses midstream. Look, that's a good point. I think we probably didn't emphasize that JMU has a bye week prior. But you wonder if the Louisville game, you got to hope everyone stays healthy in that Louisville game. That game's awesome, man. I'm sticking with Liberty, though. I think that crowd will be just absolutely insane. So,
it'll be lit.
Yeah. Then they come back to Harrisonburg to take on Georgia Southern. And Georgia Southern has, this is a series that goes back to 85. Georgia Southern's had their number. Not anymore. This is JMU's win. This Clay Helton nonsense out of here. Yeah. So this will be 2-2 to be 500. What are you doing here?
3-1. Revenge. They got this one circled after last year's disappointing outing down there in at Georgia Southern.
Yeah, Statesboro.
Then
they head to Atlanta Center Park Stadium where Dale Murphy used to hit dingers in a series that goes back to 2012. Georgia State's an interesting team. This is the sleepy one. This is when Diego Piscopavia and Vanderbilt fell asleep and they went into the stadium because normally there's 12 people at these games. But this is, to me, it's like NC Nick's point of view of having a dead crowd can actually be an advantage.
Sleepy, yeah.
Yeah, you fall asleep, you're not really looking forward to I'm still taking JMU, but this is I think this is more dangerous than the Southern game. I'm going to say that.
I think they get it done. It's hilarious that Vandy had such a great year but lost at Georgia State. Georgia State's still a work in progress. JMU 4-1 for me. Too much depth.
Yeah, 3-2 for me. Then Louisiana Raging Cajuns come into town. This is the first ever matchup. Glad they're getting this out of the way. But we already did our Louisiana preview all over JMU here. I feel very good about this game. Yeah. So this will put them at 4-2 for me. What are you doing here?
Yeah, JMU doesn't lose at home often. And Louisiana, a much better home team. I got the Dukes 5-1.
There we go, 5-1, red hot, top 25 at that point. Then you got the Royal rivalry, Royale with cheese. All right, Old Dominion and Ricky Ronnie coming into Bridgeforth. The series goes back to 2011. Remember, ODU brought back their football program from the 50s or 60s. So that's why it only goes back to 2011. JMU didn't have a program in the 50s or 60s. Interesting game. I feel like Ronnie's team's always I think he's a really underrated coach despite his record because I feel like they get rated and I always feel like they scheme up well. But I'm taking JMU. This is a little tricky, but the fact it's at Bridgeforth, give me JMU, man. Yeah. What are you doing here?
Yeah, last year was a really close game. 35-32, JMU got it done. Game's not at Norfolk. I'm not picking against JMU and Harrisonburg against an inferior opponent. So I got another one, 6-1. They're
5-2 for me.
Cooking.
But yeah, let's go. Then we have your second bye week. Shout out to the Dukes and their nice purple on purple there. And shout out to Robert Martin in the chat checking in from Winnipeg. We got Dukes fans checking in from Canada. Let's go. Then they head to San Marcos, Texas.
Tuesday night game. Tuesday, October 28th. What? Hey, this is a great schedule.
This is a great Tuesday game.
Yeah, this is fire.
Yeah. I could see them winning this too. I just feel like Texas State, though, is a team on the rise, and that place does get fucking lit, man. I'm going to take Texas State. Give me my third loss of the season for the Dukes.
Yeah, this is a tough spot, and I'm buying into the year after the year with Texas State. I think they're going to be pretty damn good in year 3 of Kenny. I think the Dukes get tripped up here to go to 6-2 coming down the final 4 games.
All right, 5-3, 6-2 for you. Then they head to Huntington, back-to-back away. Series goes back to 1987. Can they get revenge? They should have beat Marshall last year. I have no idea what to expect of Marshall this year with how many players left and followed Charles Huff to Southern Miss. So I'm going to take JMU, but am I a little nervous back-to-back away? Huntington is a challenging road trip too.
Yeah.
Like, that shit gets cold. Those fans are good. I'm going to take JMU though. Give me. I just don't know what to expect of Gibby in year 1 there in Huntington. So give me a JMU win, especially with the way they lost last year.
Huntington is a bear of a trip. I mean, not tough to fly in, but I will say at least Harrisonburg is not too far. It's not too far a bus trip for them. I think like 3.5 hours. So I got JMU splitting the road trip. I think they get one here, but this is going to be a tough game because Gibby's team will get better and they will play hard for him.
What is the date on this? Do you have that date?
This is a November 8th game. I mean, this is
by that point your coaches are almost in year 2.
Yeah.
So
this is a tough game, but I think JMU has too many dudes off a loss.
I'm with you. So you got them there. What? How many losses do you have? 2 still? Okay.
7-2. Yeah, 7-2.
And I'm at 6-3. Then App State comes to town, and remember they were throwing snowballs at them last year. The App State fans were hitting the JMU players in the tunnel with snowballs. It was a big story. Series goes back to 1980, same as Liberty there. These are the 2 oldest opponents on the schedule. So Lyle Doggins comes into App State, and that hire I did not have on my radar for who App State was going to hire. So they're a bit of a mystery team to me. So I will take JMU, but if he does hit the ground running, this is a game that obviously App can come in there and win. I think App won the last time they went there, if memory serves me correct.
Yeah.
So I think Nick was there. My NC Nick was there. So fire game. Oh, this game I circle this one every year to watch. What are you doing here?
I was talking to my brother who went to JMU. And this is turning into a really underrated rivalry. He hates App and
basketball too. I felt like they were some heat to their games over the past couple of years.
Well, remember the game 3 years ago when App was up like 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter
and then lost. I do remember that. That was and Nick was that game too. Yeah, that was insane.
And then they spoiled Signetti's final year, his final loss on game day coming in, and then last year they lost again. So they've lost 2 in a row. I think they right the ship here. They get back in the win column. This is a fun game. This should be a Friday night game.
It should be. It should be a weekday game, dude. Yeah. It should be a weekday game.
They need to spotlight some of these rivalry games more, man. This is a good hatred product here.
Well, it's just 2 really awesome programs. One FCS national championships. They're just they've been hitting with those the Power 5 guys. I mean, I talked on JMU beating Va Tech and UVA, and App has obviously won at Michigan and A&M and South Carolina, so they've earned that. That's why the game is so great. After that, Washington State comes to town. The Cougs.
How about this game?
Sneaky. I love it on the schedule. I mean, I almost think I have to take JMU because of the logistics, because Pullman, you don't just fly out of Pullman. You got to take a bus to Spokane, and you're going to have to connect. That shit ain't going direct to Dulles if I had to bet. So then when you get to Dulles, you're going to have to hop on a bus and go a couple hours. Give me JMU to win this thing. But it is kind of crazy that I'm just giving them App and Washington State.
Well, they to further your point, they got the Pac-12 title game on deck. They got Oregon State the final week for Wazoo. I mean, that's a big game,
Good
especially
spot.
with
Yeah.
how they get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, JMU, tough road trip, and we know JMU's a giant killer, so they'll kill this giant.
Yeah, they probably have this one circled a little bit, but I don't know because it's after App. That's what makes it sneaky. Is like if App is turned into that rivalry game we believe it to be, you could be a little bit asleep here. But
it is a Pac-12 team. I mean, it's
not
like it's Colorado State or somebody. I mean, it's Wazoo.
Yeah. Then they end the season in Conway. Now, I think Tim Beck's going to be fired by now.
Yeah.
I think by the time they get here, they're going to have an interim head coach. We saw what an interim head coach did at ECU, though. He rattled off he went 5-1 or 6-1. It's a tricky game because their fans are awesome. I was at Brooks Stadium last year having a blast. Give me a lot. I'll say this: they're going to lose one of these final three. Someone's getting them here. We gave them Marshall. We gave them App. We gave them one of these ones. We gave them Wazoo. One of those ones they're gonna fall. I'm adding one more loss to the schedule, but I still have it at 8-4. I think, right?
I'm with you. I think this has got spoiler game written all over it. Nothing to lose, and then you got the team that's all they got to do is win. They're coming off the Wazoo win. They stumbled down the stretch last year. Give me Coastal in the upset, 9-3.
I got them 8-4. You got them 9-3, and the number in Vegas is 7.5. Woo!
Over.
Yeah. I mean, I almost feel like. I mean, they're plus 370 to win the Sun Belt, plus 1,000 to make the CFP. They're the odds-on favorite to win the Sun Belt. They don't get Southern Miss on the schedule, which I love because Marshall from last season, who won the Sun Belt, is basically Southern Miss. You look at the purple games there are the road spots, but they can lose to Liberty and Louisville, and those aren't conference games.
And Wazoo.
Yeah, and Wazoo. Damn, that's a nice non-con.
That's a fucking.
It's a really nice. Even Weber is like a solid FCS.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. I'm sitting there thinking what's the worst case scenario? Because this almost is in lock territory to me. Because worst is that to me, there's only one flat out loss on the schedule, and that is Louisville. Every other game to me is winnable.
Louisville, they're going to be a double digit, probably a 14-point underdog or whatever it's going to be, 10, 14 points. Liberty will be pretty much within a field goal spread, I would imagine. Same with Texas State, same with Wazoo. So those are three toss-up games, and then I guess if you lost,
I think this is a lock.
Yeah, if you lost all three toss-up games and then you got picked off by Marshall or Georgia State or Coastal, you could get to the under. But that would be you losing all three 50-50 games.
Yeah, I will say, I wish they would have gotten Marshall or Wazoo earlier in the year because those are first-year coaches that you're getting in November. Mm-hmm. But I just don't really see a scenario where they go 7-5 would mean they'd have to lose Louisville, Liberty, Texas State, Marshall, and Coastal. I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but I'm gonna lock up the over.
Do you remember my stat to start the show? They've won 9+ games every year, except for the year they only played 11 games in COVID.
And Chesney's reuniting with the quarterback that's been in his offense for 4 years before.
Who won at Kansas and at Houston? Yeah, I'm locking the over.
Yeah,
and I'll take them to win the Sun Belt too.
I mean, here's the thing about the Sun Belt one. I'm all over Southern Miss, but it's still at plus 370. I'll play. To me, there is no third team to me. I think it's JMU or Southern Miss. Mm-hmm. I know the folks will say Georgia Southern or something, or maybe Arkansas State. I mean, maybe Texas State, actually.
Texas State.
There's three that could. Texas State would be the third that I would put in there. I don't think Arkansas State will. I don't think Georgia Southern will. I don't think Louisiana will. So, to me, plus 370, you do sprinkle that. then yeah, lock up the over. We're both locking it up. Hook, line, and sinker here, folks. That is our show. We actually, for the most part, we have some slides on the way out, show honoring the history of James Madison Duke football. But yeah, check us out. We're here every single day talking college football. We got the California Golden Bears tonight. Riverboat Ron. Damn, you fans know about Riverboat Ron. He's their general manager. He's their general manager now at Cal. We're going to be talking to them tonight. And then after that, we jump over to the likes of, Georgia Tech and Ball State, or Ball State and Georgia Tech, I think, in that order. So fun times ahead of you. Check out the college football experience. We're breaking down all 136 teams. Remember to also check out the FCS college football experience, the college baseball experience. I mean, we're about to go watch the game right now with those same Louisville Cardinals taking on some action right there in Omaha. Also, check out the college basketball experience. Mac's been killing it. JMU, can they get back to the NCAA tournament? They're a fascinating team in basketball too. So check it all out, folks. We come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Also check us out on the Sports Gambling Podcast. Till next time, folks, this is the college football experience, JMU Duke style. You better start thinking about yours. And where the hell's my outro?
Mailbox 1. You have 7 old messages. 1.
I'm not saying I'm impossible to outsmart my body and soul, or nothing without heart. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outrun my body and soul, or nothing without love. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outdo my body and soul, or nothing without truth. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're nothing without yourself. We're the obsession to be a part of that, started that. Mind over matter don't matter in the market. I've seen much smarter cats have heart attacks. Logic cause leaders need lambs to be lethargic. Match wits with the half-wit phantom. I don't need jumper cables or mic cords to analyze an analytical anthem. Between my two ears, an engine pumping the life force. Force field for your grip on the grievance. Still gonna feel unchallenged, your board stiff. So arrange the pieces to prepare cohesive. All the hard work will go largely ignored if your hands are covered with post-its and paper cuts. You need to have your voice in the vice grip. The one who made it famous ain't the one who made it up. You don't get overtime just for working the night shift. I'm not saying I'm impossible to outsmart my body and soul, or nothing without heart. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outrun my body and soul, or nothing without love. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outdo my body and soul, or nothing without truth. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're nothing without yourself. Every time I close my eyes, I'm taken to the same place, a playing field, and every contestant's got the game face. Everybody's yelling, you ought to play it safe. Make sure them shoes are tied and ankles taped. Shake the cobweb, hit the ground running. This is how cunning I can get with the footwork. You're doing it right, well, it shouldn't hurt. Flirt with greatness, still I run the famous. Nice high heels, I got mics for spikes. Trampling the home team and the turf for life. For the few fleet of foot, too fast for me. I fear none, cause I run and ignore the pig. Of feet by the tree, they're the fast asleep. In love with the game, you adore the head. I believe in achievement. My soul isn't rewarded just cause it's easy goal and moves toward it. I'm not saying I'm impossible to outsmart my body and soul, or nothing without heart. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outrun my body and soul, or nothing without love. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outdo my body and soul, or nothing without truth.